Have you ever been told that once you have high blood pressure, you're stuck with medications for life? What if I told you that's not entirely true? What if the key to reverse hypertension without meds is closer than you think, something you can take control of today? Without waiting for a prescription or living in fear of every rising number on the blood pressure monitor? The very phrase reverse hypertension without meds sounds almost unbelievable, doesn't it? Yet science and countless real-life stories show that this is possible when we start looking at our bodies differently. High blood pressure, or hypertension, has been called the silent killer because it creeps up on people, often without obvious symptoms until it's too late. But let me challenge that thought for a moment. What if this so-called silent killer could also become a silent teacher? A wake-up call, not an inevitable sentence. And that's what I want to share with you today. If you've crossed the age of 50, chances are either you or someone you love has been told you need to watch your blood pressure. But instead of just accepting medication as the only path, let's explore how the body can naturally heal, adapt, and thrive when given the right tools. Now, before we dive deeper, let me say this clearly. Medications can save lives. And if your doctor prescribes them, don't stop cold turkey. But at the same time, we can begin to build a lifestyle that reduces our dependence on pills, lowers the risks, and often reverses hypertension naturally. So let's take this journey together, because your health story doesn't have to end with a handful of pills. When I think about blood pressure, I picture it like a river flowing through the body. Sometimes the river flows gently, nourishing everything along its path. But other times, it's like a flood, pressing too hard on the banks, eroding and damaging everything in its way. That's what hypertension does inside our arteries. It creates too much pressure. And over time, that damages the vessels, the heart, the brain, the kidneys. But here's the hopeful truth. Rivers can be redirected, slowed down, and made healthy again. And so can blood pressure. The body has an incredible ability to repair itself if we know how to help it. So what are these keys to reversing hypertension without meds? Let me share a perspective that combines both science and experience. The first key is food. I've seen too many people, including myself, underestimate the power of what we put on our plates. We often think food is just about calories or weight, but in reality, it's a medicine cabinet waiting to be unlocked. When you choose whole foods, vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, whole grains, you're giving your arteries the flexibility and strength they need. For instance, leafy greens like spinach and kale are loaded with potassium, which helps the body release excess sodium. And sodium, as you know, is one of the biggest culprits in driving up blood pressure. But here's the twist. It's not just about eating less salt, it's about eating more potassium-rich foods that naturally balance the system. That's a shift many people never hear from their doctor. Imagine replacing one salty processed snack with a handful of nuts. Or trading that plate of bacon and eggs for a bowl of oatmeal topped with berries. It's not just a diet, it's a quiet revolution inside your arteries. The second key is movement. And let me be clear, I'm not talking about punishing workouts or running marathons at age 60. No, I'm talking about gentle, consistent movement that tells your heart you're safe. You can relax, walking 30 minutes a day, dancing in your living room, stretching before bed. These aren't just hobbies, they are powerful medicine. Movement makes the blood vessels more elastic, lowers stress hormones, and improves circulation. I've known people who, within a few weeks of daily walking, saw their blood pressure numbers drop more than any pill had managed in years. Think about that. Your body is wired to heal if you let it. The third key is stress. This one is often overlooked because we can't measure it with a blood test. But stress is like an invisible hand squeezing your arteries tighter and tighter. Have you ever noticed your blood pressure is higher at the doctor's office? That's the white coat effect. Now imagine living in that state every day: worry, anxiety, frustration. The pressure never lets up. But here's the beauty. Practices like deep breathing, mindfulness, prayer, or simply spending time in nature can reverse that effect. It sounds simple, even trivial, but studies show that relaxation techniques lower blood pressure almost as much as medication. And I've seen it with my own eyes. A friend of mine, after years of struggling with hypertension, began taking 15 minutes every morning to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and let go of the stress of yesterday. Within months, his numbers improved so much his doctor reduced his medications. That's not a miracle, that's biology working in your favor. Now, let's tie all this together. Reversing hypertension without meds isn't about one single magic bullet, it's about creating a lifestyle that supports your body's natural balance. Nutrition, movement, stress management, they're like three legs of a stool. Without one, the whole thing wobbles. But with all three, you create a stable foundation for health. I want to share something personal here. When I turned 55, I noticed my own numbers creeping up. I had a choice. Ignore them, pop a pill, or get serious about change. I chose the third option. I started small, swapping processed snacks for fruit, taking evening walks with my wife, practicing gratitude before bed. Within 6 months, my blood pressure dropped from borderline high to completely normal. I didn't need medication, and I felt more alive than I had in years. If I can do it, so can you. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but my situation is different. My doctor says I'll be on meds forever. Let me tell you this. Yes, genetics play a role, and yes, some cases require ongoing medication. But far too often, we underestimate the body's ability to heal. The science is clear. Lifestyle changes can be as effective or even more effective than medications. The DASH diet, for example, has been shown to lower blood pressure within weeks. Daily exercise reduces hypertension risk by nearly 50%. Stress reduction techniques like meditation and prayer lower systolic blood pressure by an average of 10 points. These aren't vague promises, they are measurable results backed by research. So, what does this mean for you right now, today? It means you are not powerless. You don't have to surrender to the idea that your only future is bottles of pills lined up on the kitchen counter. You have choices, and every choice you make, what you eat for breakfast, whether you take that walk, whether you choose to breathe deeply instead of holding on to stress, every choice nudges your blood pressure in the right direction. It's like voting for your health every single day. And the beautiful part, the benefits go beyond blood pressure. When you eat better, move more, and stress less, you also improve your weight, your energy, your mood, your sleep. It's like pulling one lever and watching the whole system reset. Let's get practical for a moment. If you're wondering, where do I even start? Here's my advice. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to change everything overnight. Start with one change. Pick something simple and doable. Maybe it's adding a serving of vegetables at lunch. Maybe it's walking around the block after dinner. Maybe it's turning off the TV 15 minutes earlier to sit quietly. One change builds momentum, and momentum creates transformation. I've seen people go from stage to hypertension to normal blood pressure within a year, simply by stacking small, consistent choices. You can do the same. If you're nodding your head right now, thinking, yes, I need this, then I encourage you take action today and share your journey. If you've struggled with high blood pressure, drop a comment below. Your story might inspire someone else. And don't forget to hit subscribe, because I'll be sharing more real strategies that work, not just theories. Together, we can build a community of people over 50 who refuse to accept decline as the only option. Before we close, let me leave you with this twist. Hypertension doesn't have to be the end of your story. It can be the beginning. For many of us, it's the alarm clock that wakes us up to the reality that we need to live differently. It's the push that gets us to eat better, move more, stress less, and ultimately, to live longer and fuller lives. So instead of seeing high blood pressure as a curse, what if you saw it as a call to action, a gift that forces you to reclaim your health? Because here's the truth, your body is not broken. It's waiting for you to give it the right conditions to thrive. And when you do, you'll discover something extraordinary, not just lower numbers on a blood pressure cuff, but a renewed sense of control, freedom, and joy in your life. And that, my friends, is the real medicine.